Seattle Children's Home is really important because we're one of the only mental health centers solely dedicated to serving the mental health needs of children and adolescents.
If they didn't have access to a program like this, they might be out in the regular school and have a lot of difficulty being in class and not have the type of treatment support that they get here.
Kids with mental health issues, with behavioral issues that go beyond what families can cope with themselves, and they need help. And places like the Seattle Children's Home are here to provide that care and hopefully put the kids and their families back on the right track.
The rich history of this organization going back 125 years.
I became a resident of the Seattle Children's Home in about 1958, and I was 16 years old. I remember the sun porch. I think this is where we used to do our homework. I came from an abusive background. This was my bedroom. My parents simply didn't want to deal with me anymore. There was a bunk bed and then a single bed, and we had all of our dressers. And I do remember that I loved my house mother almost immediately. Mrs. Wales was very dear. In her eyes, we were all special, and there was never one over the other that was singled out. It was just a very loving, caring, nurturing environment. The memory that I have of being in the Seattle Children's Home is a very, very good memory. And, had I not come here, who knows? Who knows where I would be today?
We've evolved from an orphanage caring for destitute and orphaned and half-orphaned children to a comprehensive, state-of-the-art mental health treatment facility for children and their families. 1 out of 5 children under the age of 18 is experiencing a mental health issue of some sort, and we know that of that group, less than 2/3 get the help they need.
I think one of the hard things having a child who's challenged, not just with issues of mental illness, but Emma is also developmentally disabled, is that the world looks at them as not worthy, and that they're not valid and they're not valuable. And this is wrong. And to realize at an early age that she wasn't the perfect child I had prayed for or that I hoped for, but she was still perfect in her own way. Every child is valuable. Every child is a precious gift. And I look at mine, and it's the most precious gift I ever could have been given.
You can't just make mental health issues go away. Just say, okay, grow up, just get over it. It's real, it's physiological, and it's environmental, and it's all these things. But it's treatable.
I was very angry and aggressive.
Out of control behavior that just persisted day after day, week after week, month after month, for years on end.
When I was about 12 or 13, would be my best guess for when I came to Seattle Children's Home. I came from a broken home, a lot of problems, a lot of fighting, a lot of anger and that kind of thing.
Emma was doing very risky things. She was huffing, she was fire setting, and I was like, this is really serious. I mean, we've now crossed a line.
I had a lot of anger issues. Don't know the exact things that I was diagnosed with, but I just remember being an angry child. Had a lot of problems communicating with people, and a lot of times when you have problems communicating, your only way of doing that is to be angry and lash out.
Underneath every child who is challenged, who has a mental illness, is a beautiful, wonderful person waiting to come out. And this is what I found in Emma.
Nobody really wants to be angry all the time, but sometimes that's our defense mechanism. That's what we do, to throw off people,
When you're angry and rage-filled, you're not enjoying life. And now that has shifted and changed, she's a kid that has a lot of joy on her face.
I've changed tremendously.
I really do attribute that to the services we received and really the all-encompassing services. As a mom, that's what you want. You want your kids to know that they're loved, and to know that they're wanted and to know that they deserve the things that are there for them and to enjoy it and to be part of it and to participate in those things. And prior to coming here, that was not the case for Emma.
So many kids that, you know, they just give up because they don't have this kind of support.
If one person every day shows up in someone's life, then there's hope. And this is what the Seattle Children's Home did for me.
There are many children and many families whose lives are touched by a mental health issue. And we need to ensure that Seattle Children's Home remains available, open, and accessible to these families so that they can, in fact, have healthy childhoods and grow up to be productive adults.
Without a place like the Seattle Children's Home that is really here for those kids, society we would all be much worse off, and we would all suffer for that.
Places like Seattle Children's Home need to be here to help kids like Emma and provide the stability, the continuity, the security that these children need in order to manage their mental illness. This place has been a lifesaver for both of us.